What was the most messed up moment with your siblings? Story 1. I tell this story any time I get a chance to embarrass my brother. I was about 9, making him about 6, Thanksgiving dinner at our grandparents' house. We were both in the kitchen together, just the two of us, each with a slice of pumpkin pie. My little brother grabs a salt shaker from the table, slowly unscrews the cap, dumps the entire shaker of salt on his pie, and eats the whole thing, making eye contact with me the whole time. He had this look like he knew what he was doing, so I didn't question it. 20 minutes later, he's chasing a cousin through the hall. He dead stops, says, "Uh-oh," and projectile vomits all over the walls and floor. He's descended upon by adults, asking him what the matter is. His response? Too much salt. I was the only one who knew what he meant. Why, though? Story 2. I had just finished riding my bike home from a friend's place to see my mom pull into the driveway. Out of the other side of the car, my sister's head pops out. She'd been off to college, and I didn't expect to see her. My first thought, which I openly said because I was a little crap, was, why is sis home? She got knocked up in college? Out steps my very pregnant sister. It was a rare double what the F moment, as I was surprised to see her that freaking pregnant, and both my sister and mom were shocked at my accurate joke guess, and inappropriate guess, to be fair. Sort of similar thing happened to me. I texted my cousin on her 20th birthday, "Congratulations, you avoided teenage pregnancy." Turns out she had just found out she had gotten knocked up and hadn't told anybody yet. Story 13. It was pretty awkward when he knocked on my bedroom door to give me condoms when my boyfriend was over, but also very nice of him to be worried about me like that. What the frick moment comes from his girlfriend later that day, sharing with me, "I know you probably don't want to know this, but your brother's willy is huge." I super did not want to know that. Screw you, Shannon. My poor brother shares your pain. He had a party at our place when I was 18, and me and my then boyfriend were there, and then boyfriend gets really drunk, walks up to my brother and says, "Hey, I'm probably going to sleep with your sister tonight." Spoiler, he then went upstairs and passed out in bed, alone. My brother still makes fun of me and cringes at that to this day. Story 4. When I was young, about 13, my family was leaving my grandparents' house after a weekend visit. It was a long drive home, about 4 hours. I had to pee really bad, and my parents hated stopping, so I discreetly grabbed my empty Mountain Dew bottle and emptied my bladder into it. It wasn't hard to hide being in the back seat of an SUV. Well, I put it under the seat after I was finished, and when I got home, I totally forgot about it. My parents cleaned out the car later, and my thought was that they threw it away. Nope, they placed it in the fridge, thinking it was a half-full bottle of pop. Well, I only figured this out because my sister took a drink out of it and screamed. She said it must have been old and been in there forever because it tasted horrible. I was horrified, but I took it from her, fake smelled it, and threw it away, saying, "Yeah, that's disgusting." I've never told her, or anyone for that matter, what really happened. Story 5. I was out on a car ride with my dad, and we arrived back at the house at like 3 a.m. My front door opens straight into my kitchen, and I throw open the door expecting an empty kitchen, only to see my brother butt naked, standing in front of the sink. I screamed, "Why the frick are you naked?" He scrambled back to the shower. Apparently he was mid-shower, his back hurt, so he went to the kitchen to start heating water for a hot water bottle for his back, and just stopped to have a snack or something, while waiting for the hot water to boil, all while leaving the shower running. My dad still laughs about it. What else are you supposed to do when you get hungry? You get naked and eat. Story 6. Came downstairs from being asleep. Living room is in disarray. Blood drops are on the floor, and I see little flecks here and there on the wall. I say to my girlfriend, "What the frick happened?" Concerned someone got injured or something. "Your brothers had a scissor fight," she tells me. A scissor fight? Yes, those two freaking brain surgeons took up craft scissors and went at each other in my living room while my, no doubt horrified girlfriend watched on in shock and awe. They were gone by the time I woke up, thank Christ, but the evidence was hard to miss. Story 7. My family decided to spend Christmas in Mexico at an all-inclusive resort after I had moved across the country for work. My siblings and I were sharing a room. One night my brother gets in late from drinking. I wake up and see him standing over my luggage. I say, "What the heck are you doing?" He says, "Taking a freaking pee." He was. I was furious. He never really apologized. One time we were staying at a resort type thing, and my dad came home drunk late at night. I woke up and there was an entire slice of pizza in my shoe. Story 8. Probably when I was 9 and my older brother was 13, we were home watching TV one day during the summer. He was flipping through the channels and stopped on an episode of Donahue that featured a male stripper right in the middle of his routine with an audience of middle-aged women cheering. He put the remote down and excitedly said, "We're watching this." He's now married with 2 kids and is aspiring to be a Baptist minister. That is code for he gay, so gay. Story 9. Watching TV with my older sister, she gets up, walks over to the house phone, and picks it up. "Hello?" she said. "Yes, he is. One moment." She covers the microphone. "It's for you, Bintek." Crazy, I didn't hear it ring. I think to myself. I walk to the phone. My sister begins savagely beating me with the corded phone for no reason. She concocted a ruse just to beat me with a phone. Story 10. My favorite story is that I once went outside at 1 a.m. to watch a meteor shower, and my brother's bedroom window faced the backyard. I don't know why he was up. He was maybe 12 at the time, and I heard him open the window and shout, "Who's out there?" I reply, "Just me." And he says, "Oh, I'll be right out." My brother gets out of bed at 1 in the morning, puts on some shoes, and comes outside and says, "So, what are we doing?" The kid was forever down for late-night adventures, apparently. Story 11. Told my sister to come inside for dinner. She was hitting balls down our driveway with a field hockey stick. She immediately turned and swung full force into my face, breaking my nose and deviating my septum. That was 20 years ago, and she won't talk to me because I've wronged her in the past, which I can't breathe out my right nostril. I've had a deviated septum repair that reverted. You're not alone. At least it makes my wife smile when she can hear my nose whistle. Story 12. My brother and I were in our early teens. Mom and Dad divorced when we were 4 to 6-ish. Mom never dated anyone. One day we found a sausage in a tied-up condom. Pukes were hard. Well, at least you know what to get her for Christmas. Story 13. My little sister looked at me dead-eyed once and told me, "You have demons in you. You need to get them out," or something along those lines. I asked her what the frick she was talking about, and she just kind of went back to doing her thing. The girl was like 8 or so. I don't think she was trying to troll me. Also, she ran my Game Boy Advance under running water once. Story 14. I was sitting in front of the television one day when my sister walked behind me. She threw a little bouncy ball at me, but it bounced off my head, hit the television, bounced back off my head, and back at her. She was so surprised that it was such a perfect shot that she decided to try again, to repeat it. I was so happy that my sister was playing with me that I sat there as she threw this ball at my head trying to repeat the shot for like a half hour. Dude, that's so depressing. Story 15. My sister discovered her inner thinking voice when she was like 4. She came downstairs into the kitchen totally distraught and said, "Who is talking to me all the time? Everywhere I go, someone talks to me about the things I do, but I can't see anybody." Kill them all. Except Mommy. She cuts the crusts off the sandwiches. Story 16. When I was 16, I went with my family to visit my grandfather at the old folks' home. Well, I ended up striking a conversation with another guy there who had an Irish accent. After a few minutes, my then 7-year-old brother asks this guy, "Why are you talking Mexican?" He just laughed, but I was so embarrassed that I didn't know how to react. Story 17. This one time I was asleep and my little brother walked in and just got into bed with me. I was like, "Bro, what are you doing? This isn't your bed." To which he responds, "I think I know what I'm doing," and falls asleep instantly. I said, screw it, and went to sleep in his bed. I had a drunk buddy do and say the exact same thing one night. Story 18. My half-siblings are 8 and 9 years younger than me. One Sunday morning, I woke up to laughter and wee sounds coming from downstairs. I went to investigate and found that they had emptied a carton of milk, through which they were now sliding around on the floor naked. I'm imagining you're all in your 40s. Story 19. One time I walked past the bathroom to get to my room. My brother had left the door open and was standing on the toilet seat waiting for me to pass. As he sees me, he exclaims, "This is how a man takes a dump," makes a loud noise, and drops a thick log right in front of my eyes. Your brother deserves an applause. Story 20. My mom was recently divorced and had a friend, let's call him Mark. Mark has a daughter my age. The daughter and I were both 14 and got a lot of alone time together, so obviously there was some mutual experimenting. Well, it got really weird about 2 years later when my mom and Mark announced they were getting married and I was going to have a new stepsister. Story 21. When I was about 4, my parents told my brother, age 13, to take my sister and I for a walk for an hour. I think my parents wanted some private time. He took us for a walk, all right. We were gone for 12 hours. My parents were frantic, and the police were looking for us. God knows what he was thinking, but he's always been a bit of an idiot. Story 22. I was this close to beating M. Bison in Street Fighter II, and my big brother pulled the plug because he wanted me out of the room to smoke weed with his buddies. A case of justifiable fratricide if I ever did hear one. Story 23. My brother and I used to share a room when we were kids. One day I woke up and saw my brother standing in the middle of the room trying to mount a toy gun on his willy. Hey, sometimes you need protection. Story 24. The time I came home from school and found a horse in the garden, which my brother had bought from a nearby gypsy campsite. Wonderful. Story 25. My sister complained bitterly about, why do you get a new car and your own apartment? The answer was, because I work for a living, which apparently was a deeply offensive thing to say. Go figure. Story 26. During Thanksgiving dinner, my brother looked down, patted his stomach, and softly said, "Hey babe, ready for round 2? 'Cause I sure am." And then he got up and got another helping of turkey and mashed potatoes. Story 27. My sister spoiled Dumbledore's death for me. She read The Half-Blood Prince in 24 hours, asked me if I wanted to know what happened. I said no. She told me anyway. I'm still mad. Screw you, Laura. Story 28. I was winning a watermelon eating contest. My sister, realizing she could never beat me, picked up her half watermelon and bashed me in the back of the head with it, knocking me out cold. Story 29. My brother, directly after the funeral, stole our uncle's war medals from his bedroom. His wife found out, told me and my mother, and then my mother made me sneak them back in. Story 30. Sister logged into my RuneScape account and finished the Dragon Slayer quest that 10-year-old me with limited playtime had spent months to gear up for. I was devastated. Story 31. My sister used to sleepwalk into my room and just stare at me with a soulless murder glare. It was scary. Story 32. I made a collage of all of the mugshots that I found online of my sister and texted it to her. Story 33. Once I was taking a pee, and my brother barges in and starts peeing and yells, "2 players." Story 34. Overwrote my save file to start a new game. Mustard, I will never forgive you. Click on one of the videos you see on the screen now, or a Karen will sue you.